Welcome to the Japa Connect Reality Talk podcast, where we bring real-life stories that challenge, inspire, and transform our perspectives. My name is Babatunde. Today, we are diving deep into a powerful and emotional topic, how migration almost destroyed my marriage. For many, moving abroad represents hope and opportunity. But what happens when this dream turns into a nightmare for relationships? Many couples have faced the strain of long-distance marriage, and today we have a guest who lived this painful reality. Before we begin, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This conversation is for anyone struggling with the effects of migration on love and family. Drop your comments below. Have you or someone you know experienced this? Let's talk. To start, let's welcome our special guest, Mr. Olumide, who has bravely decided to share their personal journey. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is a topic that needs to be discussed because too many couples suffer in silence.
So tell us about your life before migration. What was your marriage like?
Honestly, we were happy. We weren't perfect, but we had love, respect, and a strong bond. We supported each other through tough times, and our dream was to build a stable future together. But Nigeria's economy made it difficult. We started discussing the possibility of going abroad to create a better life.
At what point did the decision to migrate become serious?
When financial struggles became overwhelming. We wanted a better future for our kids, and we saw migration as the only way to achieve that. The plan was that I would go first, settle, and then bring my spouse over. We thought we were prepared, but we weren't.
Once you left, how did things start to change?
At first, it was exciting. We called each other constantly. But soon reality hit. Time differences, stress from work, financial burdens, and loneliness. The long distance started to feel heavy.
What were some of the biggest struggles you faced as a couple?
Communication was the first thing that suffered. Calls became shorter, text replies became slower, and misunderstandings grew. When I was exhausted from work, my spouse felt ignored. When my spouse had problems back home, I felt helpless because I wasn't there.
Did you ever feel like your marriage was in real danger?
Yes, it wasn't just a distance. It was the emotional disconnection. It felt like we were living two different lives. Small issues turned into big arguments. Loneliness created insecurities, and insecurities created suspicion. We started questioning if the marriage could survive.
Every struggling relationship has a breaking point. What was yours?
The breaking point came when my spouse accused me of changing. I had become distant and they felt abandoned. Meanwhile, I felt unappreciated for all my sacrifices abroad. The final straw was when my spouse said, "It feels like I don't know you anymore." That hit hard.
That's painful. At any point, did you think about walking away?
Yes. When migration becomes the reason for your suffering, you start wondering, was this even worth it? I felt like I had left my family behind, but I was still struggling abroad. My spouse felt like they were raising the kids alone. We started considering divorce.
Aside from the distance, were there other pressures on your marriage?
Absolutely. Friends and family had their opinions. Some encouraged us to work it out, while others said, maybe this marriage isn't meant to survive.
And what about temptations? Being alone in a foreign country can make people vulnerable.
That's a very real issue. Loneliness is dangerous. You start forming bonds with new people. Sometimes it's innocent, but other times, emotional attachments can form outside of marriage.
That's deep. How did you handle it?
I had to set boundaries and remind myself why I came abroad in the first place. But if I'm being honest, there were times I felt emotionally closer to strangers than my own spouse. That's when I knew something had to change.
So, what changed? What made you decide to fight for your marriage?
One day I asked myself, am I willing to lose my family for this? I realized that migration was temporary, but my family was forever. I decided to prioritize my marriage.
What steps did you take to rebuild trust and connection?
1. We created a communication schedule. No matter how tired I was, we had us time every day. 2. We got transparent about finances. Money issues were causing tension, so we started budgeting together. 3. We made a reunification plan. Setting a realistic timeline for my spouse to join me gave us hope. 4. We sought guidance from elders and counselors. It helped to talk to people who understood our struggles.
For couples watching who are going through this, what advice do you have?
1. Talk before you migrate. Discuss expectations, fears, and how to handle challenges. 2. Prioritize your marriage. Money is important, but without love, what's the point? 3. Stay connected. Distance is only a killer if you allow it to be. 4. Have a plan for reunification. Long distance cannot be forever.
This has been an eye-opening conversation. Migration can strain marriages, but it doesn't have to end them. If you're facing similar challenges, remember, love takes effort. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts. Have you faced a similar struggle? Let's talk in the comments. And I will see you on the next one.